been here as a guest, but we've never debated ahead of him. I know that I'm in for a tough one.
Can we live up to what yesterday?
Well, listen, of course, because Dominique's the man. Make no mistake about that. I mean, and obviously it's an upgrade from what I'm accustomed to being against with Max Kellerman. I'm talking to somebody who actually knows his stuff.
I was ready for a fight, but I mean, it seems like it's going to be a love fest.
No, it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight, no doubt about that. But Max, take your time. But I'll see you Thursday.
You're going to see him later on this week. Well, let's get right into it. Sources say Ezekiel Elliott is headed to Cabo to train as his agent and the Cowboys continue to work on negotiating a contract extension. Elliott is seeking a contract that would make him the highest paid running back in football. Here's what Jerry Jones had to say about the importance of the running back position.
You don't have to have a rushing champion to win a Super Bowl. But Emmett was the first one to do it. And that's one of the dilemmas at running back, is that the league knows that you can win Super Bowls and not have the Emmitt Smith back there or not have Zeke back there. Consequently, when we are looking and putting Zeke's contract in place, we've got to realize that the ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl. And so you've got to do all of the things along with having Zeke that allow you to have other players so that you can win the Super Bowl.
Well, the team is planning to sign veteran running back Alfred Morris in Zeke's absence. Dominique, we'll start with you here. How big a dilemma does Zeke's contract put the Cowboys in?
I don't think it puts them in much of a dilemma. And I think Jerry Jones is kind of talking around the issue there. Obviously, you don't have to have a rushing champ to do it, but you need to have an effective rushing game. And Zeke Elliott is more than just a rushing champ. He's more than just an offensive player for them. He is the engine of that offense. And I think them signing him, making him the number one overall paid running back in the league, puts him a little bit north of $15 million. And they have more than enough cap room right now to fit that in and still have money next year to sign and extend guys. So I don't think it's that big of a dilemma. I think Jerry Jones is a little bit of negotiation bluster right here, but they need Zeke to show up. Jerry Jones knows this, and he knows that you don't have to have a rushing champ to be the winner, but you need to have a rushing attack, and he's more than just a rushing champ to them. If you look at Dak's play action numbers, his QBR goes from 52 to 82 with Zeke in the game. That's huge. When play action is as much of a part of the game as it is for every offense as it is this year, but it's an even bigger part of their passing game, even with Amari Cooper and adding Jason Witten. So we know that Jerry Jones got money to spare. If he's bringing guys out of retirement and giving them $2 million, he got enough to give Zeke the money that he deserves.
Well, listen, I'm not gonna sit up there and fret over the fact that Ezekiel Elliott deserves his money. This is not about the talent of Ezekiel Elliott. He's a two-time rushing champion in his first 3 years in the NFL. 322 carries as a rookie, 304 carries last year. We know that he's a workhorse. We know that he's a man amongst boys at that running back position. My argument against Ezekiel Elliott, and it will continue to be against Ezekiel Elliott, is whether or not he's trustworthy. You've been a knucklehead. You got yourself in trouble. You got suspended for 6 games. You missed in 2017. Last year, you played all those games, but in the end, you were just in the commissioner's office a few weeks ago because of your little incident in Vegas. I think that what we're looking at with the Dallas Cowboys is whether or not, Dominique, this brother is trustworthy. Accessibility and accountability are the 2 key words there. I got to know that I can depend on you to be at work, okay? Because with his knucklehead self at times, we don't know that. And then actually, of course, that leans towards accountability. Are you accountable? You want to get paid big-time franchise caliber money. We got to get rid of this notion that your money is completely contingent on your ability as a player. It's your ability as a professional, and that's a question mark. With Dak Prescott, Dominique, let's talk about this for a second here. We got a guy with a career passer rating of 96. Who's been to 2 Pro Bowls, okay? Who just completed 67% of his passes, who's never missed a game in his career with the Dallas Cowboys, okay? He started every game, and not only has he done that, he's been a paragon of virtue. Right. He's conducted himself as a professional. He's gotten the job done. Now, I'm not trying to say that Ezekiel Elliott, he doesn't benefit from Ezekiel Elliott. Right. Of course he does. But Dak Prescott is a priority, and why is he the priority? Because they know he knows how to act. And that matters.
He's cold-blooded in the playoffs, too. He was lights out against Aaron Rodgers, had 3 scoring drives in that playoff game that he ended up losing. He was also led them on a game-winning drive in the playoffs last year when they were against the Seahawks. Okay. So he comes up big in big moments. But the argument isn't, you don't have to decide. If you look at their cap, they don't have to decide between Zeke and Dak. Pay both of them right now. My point is.
But you got to remember Amari Cooper, though. They're trying to take care of Amari Cooper, too. So that's a third. That's what this is about because they're trying to take care of Amari Cooper, too.
Well, I mean, you can pay all three of them. As long as you structure the cap so all the big payouts don't go up early in the cap, they can do it this year, next year, and the year after, as long as someone's willing to take a little bit less than market value early on and recoup it later, as long as it's guaranteed. I think they can find ways around it.
All right, but then why did Jerry Jones say, excuse me, we don't have to have a Russian champion? I mean, he's sending a message. You understand that, right?
I've sat across from Jerry Jones in negotiations. Okay. This is a message that he's sending for the sake of negotiations. This is trying
it
to
just
create
for the sake of negotiations, or is it because it's Ezekiel? Because I don't hear him saying something like that about Dak.
Well, Dak's not holding out. No one's asking about Dak because Dak's not holding out. This is a message for Ezekiel, and I agree with you. If I was the owner of a team, I'd be a lot more concerned with off-the-field issues. If you were owner of a team, be concerned with off-the-field issues. What history do you have that Jerry Jones cares about what's happening off the field with any of his players? Like, you spent 2 hours yesterday arguing with a man who had several off-the-field issues.
Well, a couple of things.
And kept getting paid because he can ball.
Well, first of all, let's understand something. Number one, I definitely appreciate you watching the 2 hours yesterday like everybody else did.
Wildly entertaining.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But here's the second part. Don't compare Jerry Jones in the 90s to now. Even though Michael Irvin was his own kind of headache at times, the bottom line is that you got to remember they were winning Super Bowls, A. B, on top of it all, you inherited the team. You got rid of Tom Landry, for crying out loud. First thing you did was fire Tom Landry. You brought in Jimmy Johnson. You got Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith. Who did he neglect to pay initially? It was Emmitt Smith. Right. And that was after they won the Super Bowl, after he won the rushing title, for crying out loud.
It doesn't stop there. He also neglected to play DeMarco Murray. He's shown a history of being unwilling, potentially, to pay his star running back.
But listen to where I'm going, to touch on your point. Jerry Jones, yes, does have a history with a bunch of players that have transgressed. Right. But what's the biggest thing about Jerry Jones? They swear by the brother because he always stands by them, he supports them, etc. So to me, you could sense there's something personal going on. Like Jerry Jones say, wait a minute now. We have always watched your back. Right. We're not going to avoid taking care of you. How dare you come to us and try to press us against the wall?
Jerry Jones had his back when a lot of people did.
There you
when
go.
People were turning on him for his off-the-field issues. Jerry had his back. And I could imagine that Jerry's offended that with 2 more years left on his rookie deal that he's coming to ask for money. But that don't matter. Jerry Jones needs a Super Bowl, and he's not winning one without Ezekiel Elliott.
How does it look that he went to Cabo right now?
That doesn't bother me.
Oh, I mean, listen, fantastic. I
would have done it too.
You mentioned accessibility.
If I don't have to show up to training camp, you understand? I can run on. There's a beach in Cabo now. I can run on the beach now. You understand? Running on that sand. I mean, it can be effective. So I'm not going to knock Ezekiel Elliott for that. But what I will tell you is this. Let's go to Alfred Morris, for example. Yeah. This is a big issue for me. This is a big pickup. Why? Alfred Morris, he only rushed for played 14 games, rushed for a little over 500 yards for the Dallas Cowboys. The man averaged 4.8 yards a carry. If you remember a few years back, DeMarco Murray was there as your running back. He gave him the ball 392 times, ran him into the ground, then you didn't sign him to a contract extension. You let him go. He ended up with the Eagles before he landed in Tennessee. All right, but we see where his career went, okay? So I don't blame Ezekiel Elliott for being concerned. What I'm saying is, if you're Jerry Jones, you're like, wait a minute now. After DeMarco Murray left us, we still had some runners, one of them who was Morris, who were relatively effective. It wasn't like we were devoid of any kind of ground game. Nobody's Ezekiel Elliott, don't get me wrong. But at some point in time, as a Cowboy fan, aren't y'all going to look at it from this perspective? Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, number 1 receiver. Jason Witt returned, short yardage security blanket, all right? Randall Cobb, you upgraded from Cole Beasley. Kellen Moore, well, I don't know about that. I mean, he's new. He's new. So let's see. All I'm saying is the defense is better than it's ever been in years. So if you're Jerry Jones, I'm looking at it as very significant from the standpoint, Dominique, you're Ezekiel Elliott. I understand you're the best. I understand from a talent perspective, you deserve your money. But make no mistake about it, he doesn't have all the leverage here. That's what makes it significant. And if Jerry Jones got an attitude with you, that's a problem, Dominique. That's a problem.
Jerry Jones is going to pay his guys. He normally does, except for the running back position. We've seen that history. You brought up Murray. You brought up Emmitt Smith, who he eventually paid. But I think that Jerry Jones doesn't care about anything but winning a Super Bowl. And we all understand that their probability of winning a Super Bowl goes through the roof with Ezekiel Elliott, and it goes down way low without Jerry Jones. So if he has the guts to hang around, even into the season, they're going to have to pay him.
I love how folks say, oh, Jerry Jones care about Super Bowl. I ain't been Super Bowl. I didn't see Super Bowl Dallas 25 years. That's all the more reason. Has he cared for the last 25 24, 25 years.
That's
He's
all
76.
the more reason why he wants it so much more now. If he had a couple Super Bowls in his belt, he might.
Right.
I mean,
and I remember seeing Ezekiel Elliott run for 47
Well, later on the
yards
show, we are going to discuss the importance of the running back role. There have been 4 instances in history where a running back has won the rushing title as well as the Super Bowl. Emmitt Smith in 92, 93, 95. Terrell Davis did that same thing in 1998.
There we go.
All right, gentlemen, we have got a lot more for you on First Take. NFL insider Adam Schefter